Lilith in Gemini is driven by curiosity and a constant desire for change. Lilith is an air sign, and it's also a mutable sign. So it's really the most flexible of all of the signs of the zodiac. And so when we infuse Gemini energy into Lilith, we see this kind of need to touch the stove. Like they need to, it's still instinctual. Gemini is very mental, but in the body of Lilith, it is still instinctual. It is still touching and moving and experiencing the world around them. They're doing it through curiosity. So, like I said, they need to touch the stove in order to know that it's going to burn them. And they need to learn and they need to experience all of these things. So when they get people coming in their heads and telling them how to behave, and no, you should know that already. You should know that. And preventing them from experiencing things through their physical body, from feeding their curiosity through the physical body, they are going to feel that's when the rage comes. I always say that. That's where the rage comes in. That's where the guilt comes in. That's where the shame comes in. Because what are we not supposed to do? We're supposed to learn the lessons. We're supposed to be told what to do, and we're supposed to follow the rules. And Lilith never, ever follows the rules in any of the signs, in any of the houses. But in Gemini, it is that mental stimulation. So how do we experience mental stimulation? Through the body, through the instincts. It is by trying things. And so Gemini wants to try everything, and everyone else says, don't try everything. It's important, and people don't understand that. So Gemini starts to feel angry when they don't feel understood, because they are doing so much and experiencing so much and taking in so much information from their environment and then acting on that, and it doesn't always make sense to people. In fact, it often doesn't. Lilith rarely makes sense to people, but especially in Gemini, because they're doing things, because it is being filtered through the mind. Has to do with decision making and choices. And although we'll get more into that probably with the Virgo energy, which is also a Mercury ruled sign. So there's a lot of commonality between Gemini and Virgo, because they're both very mental signs, and they're both mutable signs. So they both have that flexibility going. But with Gemini, and Lilith, it's about communication, and it's about talking about the things that they want to talk about, which are going to often be outside of the patriarchal standard box. It's going to be outside of the realm of what we maybe deem acceptable. So very similar to Scorpio energy in that way. But it's Gemini, so it's purely driven by curiosity. Like they just want to know, they just want to understand things better, and they want to understand things better by physically experiencing through the body. Now, one of the things that can happen when this is they're going to say things, and they're going to spark people, and they're going to say things that set people off, and then they feel guilty about saying the wrong thing because it created some sort of ripple effect, or created some sort of discomfort with the person that they're saying it to. Gemini in Lilith in Gemini needs to feel empowered. They need to feel empowered to say the things that they want to say and follow their instincts. My instinct says I should say this, and they should go ahead and say it, and trust that, if somebody is coming to them, that there's a reason that they need that edge, their edge is pushed, because there's something that they need to learn and they need to understand. And so you push the edge, and you think about that. And so we think about it, we push somebody else's edge, and then it's like ruffling like a beehive in a way. So you're curious and you want to see what's inside, and you push the beehive, and the bees get angry, and then they're flying all over the place, and then they start to sting you. You're like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. But it's Gemini, and you needed to learn. You needed to experience it. You needed to experience what happens when you poke the beehive, and they get angry, and you receive that anger. And so you didn't do anything wrong. It is so important for Gemini to understand that they are not doing anything wrong when they poke the bear, or poke the bees, or poke whatever they're poking with the things that they're saying, the things that they're trying to understand better, because that is ultimately what is driving them. So we can see, as I've talked about in other Lilith videos, a lot of times repressed guilt, shame around our Lilith issues shows up in the body, because Lilith is about the physical body. An expression of the physical body can show up as breathing issues, as literally they feel suffocated because they're boxed in to a space that doesn't allow them to breathe and be themselves in the way they need to. I'm kind of thinking about like a fish that needs to keep moving in order to get air through through the water. They can't sit still. And Gemini Lilith people cannot sit still. They're not meant to sit still. They're meant to constantly be feeding that, to be stimulated in order to feel good, in order to feed their instincts, in order to move through this world with confidence and with depth and with breath that they need to be themselves. So I hope this helps. If you're interested in more Lilith stuff, I have my, there's a Lilith video, which is True Black Moon Lilith, and why I use True Black Moon Lilith instead of Mean Black Moon Lilith, and more about how it generally fits into our astrological charts. Plus I have my Being Lilith sort of video blog podcast, which goes into a lot of my experience as a Lilith person. And of course, you can always book a reading with me at katieshell.com. Feel free to comment about your experiences as a Gemini Lilith person. I hope this helps. Have a great day.